this video, I'm going to be looking at footage from when Chris Watts' family came to visit him in jail. So Cindy, Ronnie and Jamie Watts. And it was filmed in November 2018. It was the 5th of November and it was the day before he pleaded guilty to murdering Shanann, Bella and Celeste. In this video, I'm going to be looking at the way he and his mum interact, and I'm going to be looking at it through the lens of what it means to be a golden child. And then in the next video, I'll look at a bit more of that and also at the way he interacts with his sister Jamie.
Hi.
Hey.
You look good.
You too.
Do you know how much you're loved? Do you have any idea?
I love you too.
Chris, we love you so much. And we will never, ever, ever abandon you. Do you hear me?
Thank you.
I just wanted to see you and give you a hug.
Soon you'll be able to.
I know, hon. Oh, I've got this. I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it. There's something in it, but I can't see what it is. But
it's me and you.
Oh, okay.
And it has a saying on the back of it: "A mother's love." You mean so much to us, Chris. This isn't what I wanted for you.
This isn't what I wanted either. Trust me.
I know, hon. I don't know what happened, but I will never, ever stop loving you. Ever.
Never stop loving you guys either. Trust me.
Is there anything we can do?
Just your love and support is all I need.
The tremor in his voice sounds artificial, and I think he's trying to match the emotion of his mother. And you hear this at other points in the video as well. But I get the impression if someone else walked into the room, he could just as easily switch to sounding unemotional.
Honey, you've got that. You've got that.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of good letters from people, just like people of support. So.
Oh, honey, you don't know how much support you had out here. So many people supported you. So many still support you. And I wish I could ask you more.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Just not now.
No. No. But this is what you want?
Yeah, this is my decision. This is what I'm gonna do. Now, this nightmare has to be over for everybody.
No. You have to remember we're strong.
I know. This is my decision though.
But don't ever confess to something you didn't do.
I know, but this is my decision though. This is all me, okay?
I want you, if this is your decision, then you get in there and you make something. Your story's not over. It's just another beginning of something else, Chris. But your story does not end here. It doesn't end here. You are made for something else then. I don't know what it is yet.
So his mother is convinced her son can't just be a murderer who's living out the rest of his years in prison. He has to be a special kind of murderer who's in prison just to fulfill a special purpose.
But you are someone that I always felt that you had a pure heart, a good soul. No one could ever say anything bad about you. You were the kindest person there ever was.
You can see how she's adjusted herself here from saying you are to you were.
You were the kindest person.
And this is a rare moment where you can tell she's accepted to a degree that he isn't who she thought he was, or at least he isn't now. But usually she will quickly go back into denial. But I think that this moment shows us that there's something intentional going on. It's not something unconscious. You know, she's choosing not to focus on it. She's choosing to still think of him in the same way.
You were my smart kid. I mean, you were my... Lord, you never even rebelled.
I know.
Kid, you were perfect. You were the perfect kid.
And here was the problem. Children, like adults, are not perfect. And Chris Watts had behaved perfectly. He had been exactly as his mother had wanted him to be, perfectly obedient and thoughtful and good. And I think that's because he was sensitive enough to know what was required of him. A narcissist sees their child as an extension of themselves. If the child makes them feel bad because they don't go along with the status quo, they don't let that parent always be in control, and they don't adjust themselves to fit perfectly with what that parent wants of them, then they can be seen as very threatening. They can bring up shame, you know, in that parent. The parent can see them as this really bad person. And they're usually projecting what they hate about themselves onto the child without knowing it. You know, this is unconscious. And the golden child, well, that's the opposite situation. If they adore that child, it's because they're projecting the things they like about themselves and the things that they imagine that exist in themselves. So things that might just be their fantasy, they're projecting onto the child, and the child becomes absolutely perfect.
Everything you did with, you were so conscientious. You are so conscientious.
Thank you.
And we will be there tomorrow. We
Thank
will
you.
all be there tomorrow. Me, Jamie, and Dad.
I just want you to just make sure, like, you know, I think Amy told me you felt guilty for going out to eat the other night. I want you guys to, you know, to still feel like you can live a normal life too, you know?
I think he's playing the martyr again here. Under my last videos, people commented about how it sounded as if he was a soldier fighting for his country, that that's how he was acting and how his parents were acting. And I thought that was a really good point. And I think that's what's happening here. It sounds to me as if he's dying on a hospital bed, having sacrificed his life for his country. And I think he likes how his mother sees him. You know, she's just described him as this really thoughtful, kind person. And I think he enjoyed hearing about that, and he wants some more of it.
I just wish you would have talked to us more.
I know.
But you are so loved. There's no doubt about that. Your family is here for you. We will always be here for you, and you know that.
I know.
Your life is not over. It is not over. And you better stay strong, because I have got to stay strong.
This is a really poignant part of the conversation, I think. Cindy is saying that he has to stay strong so that she can. So she seems extremely reliant on Chris emotionally. And it seems like she can't think of herself and him as separate people. He is an extension of her. That's how it comes across to me. And it seems that, you know, that he has to stay strong, because if he doesn't, he won't be able to be there for her emotionally. And she needs him to be there for her. So I think that this is how things have played out in the past, that he fulfills this role of being there for her, even though she was his mother. When a child is scapegoated, especially if it's from a young age, they quickly learn who that narcissistic parent is. They know that they have to look after themselves and that person isn't going to help them. They're not going to be there for them. So for that reason, they're often able, or at least more able, to see the person for who they really are. At least they have a sense of who they are and of their own identity, and that they are a separate person to that parent. But with a golden child, it's different. The golden child can feel that they're merged with the parent because, in a sense, they're at least being treated as if they are. And so they can get so used to fulfilling this role in order to get their praise and attention, that they need, because that's the closest thing to love, that they can lose themselves in the process. Their mask is formed through this role that they play for the narcissist parent. That is how they get their sense of identity. They understand themselves to be whoever they are when the parent is praising them.
And you better stay strong, because I have got to stay strong. Okay? I have got to stay strong, because this is we all will get through this together.
Being reliant on Chris blinds her emotionally because she needs something from him, and so she can't afford to see him as he really is. And I talked about this in the last video, about how that happens when you have something you need from someone emotionally, that you then can't see them in a rational way, and how important it is not to use emotional thinking about people, but to really look at their behaviour. And we know that she has some inkling he isn't who she has been seeing him as, because we've seen how she's talked about him as being kind in the past tense. But she's not focusing on that inkling. She's not allowing herself to absorb it. And that's because she can't afford to do that, because she's so reliant on him emotionally.
Okay.
You, me, Ronnie, Jamie, all of us will get through this together, because we love you so much.
I love you too.
I don't care what you did. I love you so much.
When she says she doesn't care what he did, I don't think she actually means that she doesn't care that her grandchildren have been murdered. I think that what she's saying is it's not going to affect her perception of him. And that's another sign that she needs to see him in this way so badly. She's willing to ignore all evidence to the contrary, all the evidence that suggests he's not who she thinks he is.
They're going to give us all your photos back and your trophies.
Oh, okay.
And we've got all your jerseys.
These things seem to represent who Chris was in his mother's mind, and she's clinging on to these things in the same way as how she's clinging on to this way of seeing him.
I don't know. Whatever we're able to get from that toolbox, we're going to put it aside to come visit you, and just where there's a will, there's a way, and we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, just use it for whatever you need. Trust me.
No, if that's what I need. I need to see my son. I need to see my son.
I mean, you can like the toolbox, and like if the snowblower's still in there, you can do that too. I mean, I barely even used it, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
This little laugh seems to suggest irony, like he thinks it's ironic. He got it, but he never got to use it. It's like as if an outside force has changed his life, and uprooted him from suburban life. I'm going to leave it here and continue to look at this in the next video, and I'm also going to be looking at some of what Jamie said. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.